The modern Christian Zionist movement was a direct outgrowth of the Protestant Reformation in the late 16th century, when people all over Europe began reading the Bible in their local or vernacular languages. That was a prophetic event, by the way, one of the most important prophetic events in the last 2,000 years, in my humble opinion. One reason it was so important is that when these ordinary European Christians began reading the Bible in their own languages, they quickly realized that almost everything the Roman Catholic Church had told them about the Jewish people was wrong. The Church did not replace the Jews as God's covenant people. Underline that. The Jews did have a prophetic future because God was not finished with them. In fact, his plan was for them to be regathered in their ancient homeland in the last days, just before the second return of Jesus Christ to this earth. This was all very plain and obvious to these ordinary European people who had not gone to a seminary where they would learn that the Bible contains historical facts but is mostly myths and allegorical fairy tales. I say that tongue-in-cheek, but there's nothing funny about all the seminaries or cemeteries, one person put it, and Bible colleges that are turning out highly educated heretics and apostates these days. That's a big problem, and I believe it's also prophetic, but it's also outside the scope of this report. For now, it's enough for you to know that these ordinary European people didn't know any better, but to take the plain, obvious meaning of the scriptures they were reading seriously. This, among other things, gave rise to what was known as the Restorationist Movement, because they wanted to restore the Jewish people to their ancient homeland in Israel. This movement grew and evolved over time, and eventually it became known as the Christian Zionist Movement, which has made many contributions to this country, including in the area of assisting with Aliyah. In that context, we should remember Isaiah chapter 49, verse 22. Thus says the Lord, Behold, I will lift my hand in an oath to the nations, and set up my standard for the peoples. They shall bring your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried on their shoulders. Friends, that explains the fishers part of the prophecy from Jeremiah 16:16.